Hey, everybody. Thanks for listening to the Dumb Dad Podcast. My name is Kevin, and I'm a dumb dad.
Hey, my name is Evan. I'm a dumb dad.
Cheers, dummy.
Cheers, pal. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. I feel like my voice, does it still sound different to you? My voice
100%.
sounds a little bit different. I have a
100%
radio. I still have a bit of a radio voice.
Yeah. You have that thing like every kid does when they lose their voice. Like, wow, this is kind of cool.
Yeah, sunny skies and 75 today. As we talked last week, my son was ill, and I got a little bit of a viral infection from him as well. And my voice has sounded
I'll leave now.
a little bit crazy. Yeah. My voice has sounded a little bit crazy since, but I do. It's that lower register, which I've always desired.
Yeah. Have you done that thing when you lose your voice where you like by yourself in the car and you try singing and it just goes really poorly?
Oh yeah,
And then like shockingly bad.
shockingly bad. I mean, I will say this: I don't really know. I think I can sing. I don't know how to sing, if that makes sense.
Sure.
So, but when we went to the zoo, was it yesterday? Went to the zoo yesterday, and on the way home, my daughter requested we were listening to Encanto, we were listening to some Frozen songs, and I was chiming in a little bit, and she does a thing like, tell me if your daughter has done this, or when your kids are in the car, where she's like wants to hear a song, and like I wasn't singing, and she's like, "You need to sing," and she was like getting mad at me because I wasn't singing.
No, the opposite happens. They're like, no, this is my part.
That's true. Actually, to be fair, that's usually what happens, which is like, I'm singing, you shut the hell up. But she wants me to sing a couple songs with her, and so I was singing, and it was like, it was coming out.
Was
all
it?
sorts of upside down. So I was kind of just mouthing a little bit and singing. I was like, oh man, my voice sounds really crazy.
Wow.
But that lower register that I've always been like higher pitched nasally voice.
Thanks again for listening, everybody.
When I was a kid and I would answer the phone, I was like 13, 14, 15 years old answering the phone at home. Hello? And they'd go, "Oh, hi, Kim. and they'd start talking to my mom. And I'd go, "No, hold on." And I'd have to go get my mom. And every time it stung. I mean, every time.
Now just hold on a second.
Yeah.
My
and
mom's voice doesn't crack.
Immediately like, "Oh, hi." And they'd go right to like talking to her as if she answered
That's
the
amazing.
phone. Yeah.
Who's that more of an insult to, you or your mom?
Not really sure. Still probably me.
Yeah,
Just because it.
we'll give it to you. It's your podcast.
Although when you get sick though, and you have that lower register. Yesterday, my brother called me and I answered the phone, and he didn't
said,
think,
"Hello, Kim."
He goes, he didn't think it was me. He was like, I go, "Hey, man." He's like, "Hello?" He goes, "I thought somebody else answered the phone because it was my voice is all weird." But anyway, feeling okay. Just that voice hasn't really gotten back to like quite that nasally pitch that everyone's so used to on our podcast.
Yeah, we'll be there, guys. Back here next week, same time as usual. 2 unbearable voices back in the studio.
Swallowing our words, and yeah, we apologize. We're not professionals.
Never claimed to be.
Never claimed to be. This is not an advice. I almost said advice column. This is not an advice column.
It's not that
which
either.
is accurate.
It's not.
It's not that either.
This isn't a newspaper or
But it is
a blog.
a podcast about the perils of parenting and all of our experiences. How was it? You had a big event this week.
I had a big event. My daughter turned 6, which
Wow.
was cool. It was her first. Wait, hold on.
Uh-oh.
Well, no, it was. I was gonna say it was her first birthday in school, but she was in preschool 2 years ago.
Virtually.
No. Virtually at the end. So yeah, she was not. Yeah, she was not in school. So yes, this was her first birthday in school. And it was cool. She was
Lucky.
like really excited to go to school.
Yeah.
Is your son on break for his birthday? Or
He typically is. Yes.
is on
Typically has a winter break, and I can sympathize. My birthday's in the summer, and so I never had that. It's a weird
I didn't
thing.
know
Like,
that.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter when you're older, obviously. But like when you're a kid, you always think like, you don't get to like when your friends have a birthday during school. It's like, oh, it's their birthday, and then like,
It's cool to have a birthday at school because then whether or not they like you, they have to celebrate.
you have to, yeah. They have to.
You have to sing, and you gotta hug me.
and in later in school, when you have a bunch of different classes, they sing you in every class.
And even though the teacher's like, nobody does that, and you're like, sing.
We will not learn until you sing. Like, you can go to the principal's office.
Well, we're in Spanish class, so let's go.
Yeah, but that's cool, man. That's a big 6 years old. Where have our babies gone?
It's wild,
man.
We started this podcast. She was almost 3 when we started the podcast. And now she just turned 6, and
It's incredible. Congratulations. Cheers once again.
thanks. Cheers.
We're really doing it, man.
It's happening. It was fun. We're gonna this weekend we're gonna have a party with like some of our classmates at a playground and all that stuff. The classic one, and I'll have a full report on the next podcast of how that goes.
I'll have sideline reviews because we'll be there. You have to invite the whole class night, right? You have to. You can't like pick and choose. You could probably do that later on, maybe. But elementary school, it's like if you're gonna invite somebody from class, you got to invite the whole class because then people will feel left out.
And you got to say don't bring a gift, just so that everybody comes. Because
also so they
a lot
don't
of
load
parents
your
that
house.
Are just like, I don't who no
Yeah, who is this again?
we're not going.
Oh, it's like my best friend that you've never heard of.
We
Also
have
for you guys,
tattoos.
so they don't just
You're in kindergarten.
load your house full of shit you don't
Yeah,
need.
we don't want that either. It'll be all like dollar store, like PJ Masks nonsense.
How dare you?
Yeah.
How dare they?
But it was fun. She went to school and then made her a cake. And
Did she have like a birthday
she had a birthday day?
outfit planned and was like a whole like?
Yeah, she had a birthday outfit that she got to wear, and then they give her a crown and all that stuff. And she was just super excited to go to school. And then she got home, and you guys were there and dropped off a present.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of excitement. We let her open her other presents
Mm-hmm.
because she was just chomping at the bit, saw it. And we were like, yeah, sure, go for it. So she opened it, and then it was like all the excitement kind of died down. And my wife goes, she hasn't done her homework, has she? And I go, that's not happening today. I'm like,
She still has homework now?
last week. It's our last week of homework this week.
Interesting.
Yeah.
We
We haven't done a lick of it.
Well, yeah. Well, of course.
Yeah. It's like,
yeah.
Took
It's her birthday
Took her
week.
birthday off, and birthdays are celebrated week long. We're not doing that. We're done. We're clocked out.
Last week they
homework.
ended homework for my son. They were like, we're good. So he was very excited about that.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
It's so monotonous. Anyway, it was a fun day. FaceTime the parents and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Those were so funny to do. But it was fun, and it was 6.
The 6. Incredible. Side note, it's my dad's birthday today.
Happy birthday!
So happy birthday, Dad. Happy birthday, Dad. Yeah, I mean, did you have a dumb dad moment this week? Let's just get right into it. I'm chomping at the bit here because
to do yours. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mine's as usual with dumb dad moments about not paying attention. So on Saturday,
It's usually when you get penalized, right? When you let the focus slip a little bit.
on Saturday we decided to get in the car, the whole family, and we were gonna go to the playground. We get in the car and we just kind of noticed like, God, that car is just overdue for a car wash. And
Inside and out?
Inside and out. So I take the kids to the car wash, and they're like, I mean, legitimately laughing and crying. Like, they are just like...
Have they not been to the car wash before?
They have. They're both just on the fence about it. They both just have like... I think they both like it. If I were to give my analysis, of course I tell them this. They're like, you're wrong. You hate it. And I was like, no, you like it.
You're having fun right now.
You're hanging on to the memories of like when I brought you when you were too young, and it looked like an octopus was slapping the car.
Yeah.
Like,
Tears of joy. That's what they are.
So this time now it's like we go to the car wash near your place, and it's like it's got like the rainbow soap, and like it's just super bright colors and all that stuff. And they were just like, whoa, God, oh my God. And like all over the place. And they were like, and then
I don't know do you remember that feeling when you were a kid, if the car wash was scary or not? I feel like I remember a little bit of maybe it's like the first feeling of if you're a little bit claustrophobic, because normally you're driving around in the car, you can see out the windows, and now it's like you can't see anything other than like
it's intense.
It looks like you're being swallowed.
I don't remember being scared. I'm not saying I never was. I just don't remember it. I remember thinking it was so cool.
I can't wait to hear from your parents about this. And
they'll tell
you
me.
were shivering with fear.
I'm sure I was for years, and then when I turned, I think 18. Then I was like, this is actually kind of fun. I'm a little nervous.
Now that I'm driving the car, it's a little less scary.
I have to go back home because my pants are, we have to go. But yes, we went to the car wash and the kids, like, they freaked out but enjoyed it. And then we vacuumed the car and then they didn't want to go to the playground anymore. So I was like, well, I got to get gas. And I went and got gas.
Is the gas as scary as the car wash?
We
don't want to do that.
The prices are. God.
Thanks for joining us this week on the Dumb Dad Podcast.
I do apologize for this last joke. But so we do that, and then it was like, do you guys want to go to the playground? They were like, no, we just want to go home. And I was
We're emotionally wrecked, so
like,
it's about time to call it.
So that means like we took the family on a car trip to the car wash and get gas and go home.
You guys want to all jump in the car and go for a car maintenance trip?
Anybody that has 2 kids, more than 1 kid, even 1 kid can be a lot, but anybody that's like more than 1 kid knows how much of a hassle it is to get your kid in the car, and just to do that, to do an activity like a car wash, which they didn't enjoy. It's different if you're like your 2 kids are thrilled about that. That's different. This was 2 kids that were like, I don't want to, but you say we have to.
Yeah.
Which is the best part of being a parent, you know?
Yeah.
So we do all that, and it was a big old nothing burger, kind of a dumb dad moment-ish. And then
at least you're killing time, though. That's a big. It's like, check the boxes, pros and cons.
Yeah,
you're killing time.
We did.
It's all about killing
some time. So then the next morning, and you're gonna get it right away.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go to the beach. So we went to the beach, and
fantastic.
The car has
saltwater
12 to 18 pounds of sand in it. It has a smell, and it was overcast that day, so it wasn't even particularly like a nice beach day. Where the day before, the car wash day,
sure,
clear skies, perfect day,
sunny skies and 75 at the beach today. Yeah,
and that day was not. It was cold. My son was like crying a half hour, 45 minutes. I knew it. He wanted to go home. He was so beach? Cold. Yeah, he was so cold. Maybe not that long. Maybe it was like after an hour, but it was definitely like, it's a 45-minute drive.
Because he hit the water first and then.
We all hit the water right away and we go nuts. And my son
shivering
is
like 18-year-old Kevin in the car wash.
Yeah. Don't even. I close my eyes still.
I don't know what you guys are scared about. Just close your eyes.
You guys are idiots. I can't see anything. Just play a movie. Play a movie in your brain. But yeah, the car is now like, it's covered in sand.
Outside, spotless. Inside,
outside is
the beach.
Pretty good. It's probably seagull poop all over it. So that's the dumb dad moment was just not checking the weather, killing time in the wrong order, and just all that stuff.
Right. Yeah, you could have flipped that and been really successful. Mm-hmm. Really successful.
That's what I mean. Once you found out, it's like, oh, there was a pattern you could have followed.
Yeah, we did this backwards.
Mm-hmm. So, kind of a net loss, but I made core memories for my kids. None of them pleasant.
Right. Oh man, don't you love when you feel like, I think this might be a core moment, memory moment? It's not a great one.
I've had a couple moments retelling my history on this podcast that my mom has been like, not how it happened. And
I've said a lot of facts about my children that my wife later on has been like, not accurate.
Point being, I'm not in any hurry, but I am looking forward to years and years from now when my kids tell a story and I'm like, you son of a bitch, that's not how it happened at all.
I'm happy for you that that's your memory of the event.
Sounds like it really shaped you as a person.
Yeah, because let me tell you how it shaped your mom and I that night when we killed a bottle of wine trying to erase it.
Listen here, Shutter Island. That's not how it happened.
Oh, boy. Well, I brought a couple of dumb dad moments to the table
Give me
this
your
week.
best. Give me your best.
Yeah. Well, the first one, this is such an innocent one. Innocent seeming one.
I'll be the judge of that.
You'll be the judge of that, but I think you'll sympathize in some way.
Haven't yet.
I'm not going to force you to. The other night we're watching TV as a family, and big fans of the Helpsters. I know you guys watch the Helpsters. Fantastic show. Sesame Street,
Sesame Street Workshop.
Sesame Street Workshop show.
Get it right. They're a sponsor.
And again,
they're not a sponsor.
Cannot present the facts to you about my children accurately, so I'm just going to do my best here. Watching season 3 of the Helpsters, we realized came out. I don't know when it came out, but we realized it's out. This is like a bunch of new episodes of this awesome show. And so we started watching it. And okay, so fans of the show, you may know who Mr. Prim is. But Mr. Prim is, it's all puppets, like puppets and the
Muppets.
Where Muppets?
They're Muppets.
Yeah. And they live in New York City, and people come into their shop, and it's like, Helpsters, I need help with something. And that's what they do. They just solve problems, right? Mm-hmm. Mr. Prim is one of the characters, and he's like this, who is he? Like a little British, very upright.
Prim and proper.
I guess that's where he comes from. Very good, yeah. And he's hilarious. I mean,
he's a great character.
Like probably my favorite character. I think he's so funny. And he wears like white gloves, and he's got like a little monocle, I think, and then or his glasses on the end of his little cone nose, and he wears his little funny mustache and his like velvet little proper like ascot that he wears, and he's hilarious because of how prim and proper he is and how he speaks.
He's not from Britain, but
right.
We'll get into
and but we're watching the show, and here's the dumb dad moment. I turned to my wife, and out loud I said, in June, I think I want to be Mr. Prim for Halloween. Whoops. Because for the next 45 minutes...
Did you hear that, like, old Texas Chainsaw Massacre trailer twang?
Yeah.
The kids all turn their head.
And
their bodies didn't move.
Yeah. For the next 45 minutes, my children then lose interest in the show, get up from their dinner, and are now in and out of the bedroom with as many costumes as they can put on.
Okay.
Talking about how this is Halloween and we should go trick-or-treating now, and I think I want to be this for Halloween, or hold on. And then, I mean, it's like costumes all over the living room. We go into the room, when kids put costumes on, it's like, not this, not that, not this. It's like clothes and stuff everywhere. And like... I'm just looking at my wife, and she's looking at me like, I can't believe you said that out loud. And it was so innocent. It was just a thought. I mean, I didn't even think that they may have even heard me. It wasn't like I made an announcement to the family like, this Halloween, I think I'm going to be Mr. Prim for Halloween.
You didn't pause it?
No.
Just declare it?
Yeah. I just said, I think it'd be a cool costume. Figure out how to make like a foam head or something, and then wear like really nice clothes. It'd be hilarious if people knew who it was. I mean, and like... Into the next day, my daughter is talking about Halloween and what we're gonna. It's like it's
planted.
It's planted.
Because I remember last Halloween,
June
we were. I think. Oh my gosh, what did we do last year for Halloween? I can't even remember. But what I do remember was how we were hard set on one thing for months, and then in the last hey, we're going to go buy materials. It was like, we're going to all do Little Mermaid characters like for 3 months. And then 2 weeks out, she was like, I think I'd like to do characters from Free Willy. And you're like, hold on.
Mm-hmm. How do you know what that is? Yeah, I mean,
really got to monitor your iPad.
It's insane. I mean, and that's true. It really is like months and months and months. And then like, boom, changes. Like, just like that, which is crazy. But, oh, man, yeah. That was my first dumb dad moment.
You started it. That's the thing.
I started it.
So you started the process.
I lit the match.
Halloween.
And I didn't know they had cans and cans of gasoline. It was like, dude. So anyway, that was the first thing. And so now we're just like, whatever.
Is this
I
like
paid
a
for it.
Are you treating it like a swear word where you said it and you're like, just ignore it, and maybe
Yeah.
they won't say it anymore.
Yeah,
if
maybe
you
they won't
don't
repeat it.
acknowledge it.
Yeah, if we say like, don't say what mommy and daddy
Yeah, you
said.
don't do that, then
Yeah.
that's more gas. You just gotta just silently.
I don't know, man. It was like as soon as I said it, they repeated it over and over.
Right, like a
and
swear word, and you
over.
just gotta like let it just run
Let's
its
let it
course.
run its course. But it's been 2.5 days, and we're still talking about going trick or treating this week, as if it's like around the corner. Paid for it.
Good luck to you, sir.
Paid for it, still paying for it. The better one. Here's I got a really good one for you. But this is like the really solid dumb dad moment of the week, and I'm not even over this. If I'm totally honest with you,
Okay.
I'm not even over this. So as we discussed before, my son was sick, and then I got a little bit of the bug, and I've been I've just kind of been going through it. This is one of those things. I haven't been this sick in 2.5 years. You know, we didn't go anywhere for 2 years. You haven't barely been sick,
Right.
and it's just been like lingering and lingering and lingering. Okay, so Monday was a holiday, so there's part of that. So they didn't have school. They didn't have school on Monday. So Tuesdays, as we know, in Los Angeles, is early release. And
Not a great day for some reason. It's
Not a
only
great-
1 hour, and it costs you everything.
it costs you everything. I mean, it's wild how many times this year have we been working on something together and gone like, okay, we should meet here. We can do this. We could film a little bit, and then I'll come over to your house, and then we'll edit, and then it's like, oh, I gotta go. I'm not.
Well, my
Or
son
whatever.
is still napping, and it's still a situation where like I'll make sure to time it out. It's like, all right, leave the playground at noon because it's 1:30. Get him like lunch, put him down. By the time I get him down, it's 1, and it's like you don't have time to do anything.
And side note, I can't tell you how jealous I am that you still have a napping child. That one of your children is away at school and one of your children is napping, as if you have this like magical 2-hour vacation in the middle of the day.
I really don't always, especially lately, because today, to go into that, I have now had to start really paying into it. So like today what I did, and I know you used to do this with your daughter when she was napping and sometimes at bedtime. Now I'm like, I climb into bed with him and it's just like play possum. Like talk to him for a little bit, but then it's like the more you engage, the more this isn't happening. So I just like lay there until he eventually squirming slows down, and then he eventually falls asleep. But I have to wait there for a while because if I move, they jump up like a cat.
And he's been asleep for 5 minutes, which is enough.
So and it's so I
Somehow
have to
enough.
ride this line, but then I start to fall asleep.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
And then you leave the room and you feel like fucking garbage. Like he's down,
Trash.
but now you don't feel like doing anything.
Yeah. His 5 minutes recharges him for the whole day. You fall asleep for 5 minutes and then wake up. It's like you didn't sleep all night and you're trying to make it to the next day. It's infuriating.
It's infuriating how your brain cannot communicate certain things to your body. Like your body has no, obviously, because it's not the brain, has no thought process. Because
Sure.
if I lay down, I know my brain going, you're not going to sleep. You're just hanging out here till he does. And my body goes, well, this is a pleasant surprise. Shut it down, guys.
Shut it down. It's like the "we'll be back in 5 minutes" sign means don't bother coming back.
Yeah. So my body oftentimes doesn't. So at nap time, it's like, I came out of the room and I was like,
So looping it back to where we were talking about, off
Yeah.
this tangent. Speaking of laying down for a little bit, it was Tuesday, and I wasn't feeling great, and my daughter was eating lunch, and I knew I had time. I didn't. I knew I had time. My daughter's eating lunch. My wife's working. My son's at school. I got a few minutes. I'm just going to relax on the couch for a few minutes. This is great because now I have time.
yeah.
And I wasn't on the couch for 10 minutes or so before my phone rings. And it was from a number that I didn't recognize. And of course, like most people, what do? You don't answer the phone if it's a number you don't recognize.
Love this so far.
Right.
Love this for you.
I decided to answer the phone. Hi, Mr. Berger. This is your son's teacher. I think maybe you forgot that it was early release today.
Oh.
It was like, they get out at 1:25. It was 1:50. And I was laying there comfortably on the couch.
Wow. That's embarrassing.
And I mean,
What a walk of shame.
what a fucking buzzkill, first of all.
Well, you got him. Just treat it like a long day. Click. Why did my phone click? It's an
And
electronic
dude, okay,
device.
so there's a couple things about this. You and I have joked all year long about this. Like Tuesdays ruin your week. You forget almost, and then at the last minute, it's like, oh, I gotta go get him, you know. And sort of like, I liken this to one of those things. Like it's like missing a flight. I vow to never miss a flight.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to miss a flight and be that person.
Mm-hmm.
And then next thing you know, I mean, here's the thing, man. We've got like 8 days of school left.
You did it this past Tuesday.
And I did it this past Tuesday.
Good for you.
I made it so far into the school year without forgetting that there's a random, seemingly feeling random day during the week where there's just this early release that you got.
Heartbreaking. Heartbreaking.
It was, I can't even tell you, it was crushing. It was soul crushing.
I started watching Survivor with my wife, and
Yeah.
I'm liking it to those challenges that are just endurance, and it was like, oh, it's just down to these two.
It's just, yeah.
And then
It's
they
like
just-
stand on this pole
And, then,
then, yeah.
and they just like look at something stupid and they just drop
You
it.
drop
it's not
focus
even
for a
like
second,
cool.
yeah.
It's not even like a cool thing. That's what that was.
I dropped focus for a second, just not feeling great. I'm just gonna lay on the couch for a few minutes, and then in an hour or so, I'll go get my son. Phone rings.
So it happens. It happens. Parents make mistakes.
I know, but
get
it's
it.
one of those things.
Hold on. Walk me through all the juicy details of picking them up. Tell me.
So
everything. Did you make eye contact, or were you kind of looking at shoes the whole time?
I was. It was fine. It was. Before I hung up the phone, I'm starting the car. You know, as I'm like, I'm so sorry. Because here's the thing, like.
Mm-hmm.
I pull it back and put it in perspective a little
Well, I
bit.
expected you to leave quickly. I just meant like when you were there.
Yeah, so I took a shower.
You had to
and then-
look. Now, did you have to look the teacher in the eye, or were you at the office?
So
what was it?
maybe it's a little bit worse or not. I'm not sure that my wife is room parent. So like we're in touch with the teacher a lot.
Yeah, it's worse.
She also knows. I know that she knows what we do.
Okay.
I know that she knows.
Thanks for listening to the podcast.
Thank you. I don't know if she listens to the podcast, but I know she follows us on social media because at one point she was like, you know, earlier in the school year, it's like, what do your parents do? What do your mom and dad do? And my son's like, my dad's a dumb dad. And she's like, what do you mean? And he's like, well, he makes stupid videos online. And then I was like, your teacher knows what we do? And he's like, oh yeah. And I was like, well, how do you know? And he goes, well, she came up to me at one point and showed me her phone, and it was like one of your videos, and she was like, is this your dad? And he was like, uh-huh. So I know she knows what we do.
Right.
So, but all that to say, and we're lucky we live, now we're not within jogging distance like you guys are, but we're within about, it's like a 4-minute drive or say, per se. So I show up at the office, and she was kind of laughing at me, you know, and it was no big deal. Like show up and so here's the thing. I think because it was the day after a holiday weekend, so therefore like there was no Monday and then a Tuesday.
Oh, you fell for the trap. You fell for the Tuesday trap.
My son said there were a lot of kids. So I was not the only one. He was like, there were a lot of 5th graders, and there was my other friend and my other friend. So I think a lot of parents forgot. So he was kind of, I was, and now worried that my son, as we've gone over before, he's kind of an emotional kid. I was worried he was going to be like, they forgot about me. And he was laughing at me. And he goes, when my teacher called you, she said, they're going to freak out when I tell them. That's what he said. She told me they're going to freak out when I tell them. And then she called, and then I was like, yeah, I freaked out. I was like, I felt really bad, and I rushed here. But he was laughing at me. He didn't care at all. So he had a great time hanging out with his teacher. But here's the thing. The thing that I felt actually worst about later on was like,
Neglecting your son.
No, it's like when you're, you know, when you like have to stay late for something at work or something like that because of somebody else.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
she didn't get to leave work because of me. And that's what I felt bad about. Is that she, you know what I'm saying? Like,
If
she like,
we
she could have gone on with her day and
this.
left, but like, because of me, she had to like, here's the thing. They're standing outside, you know, with all the kids, and all the parents show up and they're like, okay. And then they leave through the gate, and then they leave. And like, there was like a bunch of teachers out there with a bunch of students, and there's the teacher and my son, and then all these parents come and they all leave, and they're standing out there, and she's like, well, maybe they forgot. I'm sure they'll be here soon. I'm sure they'll be here soon. I'm sure he'll be here soon. Why don't we go wait in the office? Like, all that stuff, you know? And she's also thinking like, come on, guy. Like, I gotta get the rest of my life. You know, so I felt so bad about that.
In your defense, we could fact check this, and it's pointless to bring it up, but I think Tuesday is not a short day for the teachers. I think it's an admin day.
Well, either way.
No, you ruined her work.
Which means she's got work to get to.
Yeah.
So and the faster she gets that work without anything holding her back like students or parents, she could leave. But it was on me that all of that got started late. And so I found so... And dude, the thing is like, I made it so far into the year not having done that.
I want to talk so much trash, but I have one more Tuesday to get to. And I don't want to like curse myself. Because I just got one more.
That's the thing, man. It's like we're so close to the end of the year. And I tripped at the finish line.
Yeah, you sure did. You looked at everybody and threw your arms out.
And now I can't say that I haven't done it. I can't say that. And that bothers me.
You do
I don't
not
get to have that. I don't get to have that.
Perfect attendance at picking up your child.
Yeah. God, man, it's so annoying. It grinds at me to be that guy that did that.
I love it. What I love too is what I do love too is like, not to get into it, but like we do TikTok and Instagram regularly.
Yeah.
And what we say on our TikToks and Instagram is that we're stay-at-home parents. So we do two things. We're stay-at-home parents who make TikToks and Instagram. You have no excuse.
No excuse.
In her brain, she's like, I'm calling him, and right now a ring light's facing him in the face with his phone mounted, and it's going to ring, and it's going to be the teacher's number.
Yeah. I'm in between takes here.
Yeah.
Who is this? God, what do you want? Oh, I got to go.
I'm dressed like my wife. What?
I'm complaining about my son's teacher. What do you want? Oh, hello. She's incredible. That's the thing. I would never complain about my son's teacher.
Yeah.
She's incredible.
Yeah, she stays with your son.
She's more dedicated as a parent than I am.
would say she puts in more time with her son than she needs to. I would definitely say that about your son's teacher.
Oh, man. I won't be over this anytime soon. It's going to eat at me for a while.
All right.
And there you go.
I'll check back with you next Tuesday, see if I made it. Perfect attendance.
We're so close, man. We're so close. And that's the other thing, too, like we were talking about before. It's like, what a year it's been. We're after the pandemic and everything, after virtual stuff, we're almost at the summer, and that's terrifying.
It is terrifying. We were looking at gymnastics classes. We were looking at dance classes. I think we might have settled on dance class, but we're going to have to try it out for a week, and then she can decide. But it's like...
You got to get...
It's
camps.
Insane how you just go like school just stops for them, but the rest of the world keeps going for everybody else.
I don't think you realize...
And all that, it's...
I want people to write in and tell us, or if like, for the parents that are like, you know, because in many ways we're fortunate that we're stay-at-home dads. We chose to be stay-at-home dads, and in many ways we're unfortunate for that reason. But parents work, people work. You know, people have 9-to-5s. Both parents have 9-to-5s. How do you manage that summer? We're panicking, thinking like, how are we going to fill the time? We have a lot, like we've been able to build a lot of business and activities for ourselves. We post content. We are constantly writing and editing things and posting content and podcasting and all this stuff. So we're thinking like, we got to fill the time for the kids so we're not neglecting them as well. I don't want to just, we'll feel so guilty about just dumping iPads on them for 8 hours a day as we selfishly work on our stuff.
Yeah,
but
me neither. I wasn't planning that at all.
But I mean, it's like, I guess it's what it is, right? It's
July.
Camp and babysitters and reinvesting your time and money into like how to pass the time for 2.5 months while your kids are not in school. I mean, it's like you forget maybe what a luxury it is to have your kids in school, and like we both have little ones that are not in school yet. And we're thinking like, we can't get to that moment fast enough where both of our kids are in school to where we have the day to work on our stuff, right?
And then the summer that we scream into the void.
Yeah. And so what do you do? I mean, how do you do that? I think it's camps and like weeks at a time, or getting them out of the house is going to be a thing.
I think you plan one epic week that you take off work and you do a wonderful vacation. And it doesn't need to be expensive. You can just do camping, which camping can be expensive, but you just shop the right way. You can work it out. You can wiggle around that.
I think we're going to be a lot of camping in our future.
Plan a week-long vacation, and then the rest of the summer's iPads, man. You got stuff to do. Get it done.
Virtual parents.
Here's the thing. When the video games first came out, people were like rotting their brains, and studies have shown it's all about problem solving. Give them the iPads. Don't worry about it.
Introducing them to video games this summer.
And if you give your kids the iPads all summer, and somebody keeps like your mom or your mother-in-law keeps visiting, and they're just like, wow, on the iPad again, you tell them you heard it was good for them on the Dumb Dad podcast.
Maybe don't say Dumb Dad podcast, a podcast, because otherwise you're kind of just selling yourself out immediately.
Well, yeah, probably.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Just get through the summer.
Just get through the summer. Help us get through the summer, please. Send us your suggestions. Like, it feels like a good place to wrap it up. I think
so too. Okay, I think it's a good place to wrap it up. All right, guys, tell us your summer plans. Do you guys have a strategy? We are
drowning.
Well, we're two parents who for the last 2 years, like everybody else, have not been having to worry about that sort of thing to a degree.
Yeah.
And before that, the kids were too young that we didn't need to worry about it at all. So we are, for the first time, the both of us, going into this experience of summer vacation where there's options to do stuff. And we are, we're adrift. Like my wife and I really are. We're looking at camps and we're looking at dance and, like I said, dance and gymnastics and camps and stuff. It's like sports. What do we do?
Really, I think it's going to be on you and I. Yeah. It's probably going to be like all of our kids together. We're running like a summer camp school for part of the day.
So if anybody has any better ideas, if anybody has any ideas that's not that.
That's not the pressure that I just...
No, if anybody, like, I know about like the camps and the dance classes, but if anybody has any suggestions, anything that's like, here's a little a parenting tip. We did this, which is like, oh, that's a fun idea. Write into us, and you can write in your dumb parenting moments. We're gonna read some more on the next podcast. We didn't get to it tonight, but
we certainly don't we certainly don't offer a ton of advice, but we accept a lot of it.
We'll take it all.
We'll take it all,
and then we'll evaluate whether or not that's advice. But write to us. Tell us your dumb parenting moments, your summer vacation stories. You can email us, dumbdadpod@gmail.com, or you can DM us on Instagram @dumbdadpod, which is also our handle on TikTok and Twitter. Thank you, as always, to @Verdu for the beats, the intro, outro. And thanks, as always, to my lovely wife, Annie, for editing this podcast. Evan, tell me a technically joke.
I got a technical joke for you.
Okay.
What is a robot's favorite snack?
What's a robot's favorite snack? I don't know.
Computer chips. It's decent.
I mean, that's like brains. He eats brains.
Brains,
That's insane.
Yeah, computers are zombies. And so are we if you sleep for 5 minutes during the day and then you're done.
Try to be productive.
Okay,
bye.
Okay, thanks, bye.
Welcome to the world, little one. Welcome to life.
How do I stop this?